Look to the stars, he instructed. Look harder. Everywhere the light touches causes this fanfic to catch on fire because it's so bad and god-awful. Oh, and by the way, Simba, Scar murdered me. They all looked at the twinkling stars in the black night sky, and as closely as they could, and suddenly the stars seemed to be growing bigger and bigger and brighter, until they all formed together in a huge flash of white light. The blast of brilliant light lasted only for a moment, but in that brief moment they saw an image appear within it, like on an extra-large and bright movie screen. And they saw themselves sailing on a ship into what looked like the Hawaiian harbor, with a throng of bystanders all waving and cheering for them, and they were smiling and beaming with tears in their eyes. "What was that?" exclaimed the skipper as he rubbed his eyes after it had ended. "Of course I can't be sure," said the professor, also rubbing his eyes, "but it looked like us being rescued in the future." "It was," said E.T. "Looking into the future is a gift me and my race have, and we can only use every 100 years or so. So now you may not know when or how you'll be rescued, but you do know that you'll be rescued someday." Well, that was convenient. And then E.T. turned around and climbed up the gangplank leading up to his spaceship, and he stood in the entranceway as it once again closed up. Then slowly the spaceship lifted off of the ground with steam once again rising out of its pods, and ascended gracefully into the air, rising higher and higher until it was but a large, bright blue star in the night sky. Then it zoomed quickly out of the atmosphere and out of sight, leaving a small rainbow behind in its wake. The castaways all smiled as they looked at the rainbow, until it faded away. Each of them was filled with a renewed sense of hope of being rescued someday. Ah, that was so stupid! Retarded, that's what this fanfic is. Retarded, this fanfic is dumb! Let's take a look. Look at that! I wasted 38 minutes of my time reading this stupid fanfic! Okay, problem number 1. The story. The story was just bad. I mean, I know Gilligan's Island was probably supposed to be campy anyway, but this was like over-the-top campy. This was just plain corny. It wasn't even cute. It was just corny. It was... Ugh. And another problem was E.T. How did he know all this English? Was this supposed to be a sequel to E.T. where, you know, his race comes back to Earth to collect plants? You think they would have learned the first time not to come back to Earth, seeing E.T. was almost killed by the Earthlings the first time around. But no, we're assuming that they've never met the humans because E.T. seemed shocked when he saw them. And another problem with E.T. was reverting back and forth between him speaking like perfect English and then going back to the simple sentences and saying E.T. phone home. It was just stupid. And another problem is the grammar. 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 Again, not as bad as some stories I've read, but this was still pretty bad. Like I said before, people, if you're going to write a story, make sure the grammar is right. Okay? Okay. And another thing about the story was just the ending. It was cheap. It was stupid. Pretty much Gilligan and crew go through all this trouble to get E.T., you know, to go back home, and the best he can do is show them a glimpse of the future of them being rescued. Why the hell couldn't he have just helped them? I mean, why couldn't he just bring them home himself? All he would have to do is get on his spaceship for a short time. It wouldn't even have to go to their houses individually, just drop them off at like Miami or something, and then they'd be all set. But no, that would have made sense to do it that way. So instead he just shows them the future. Pretty much a cheap-ass way of saying thank you and then just leaves them. And if the professor could, you know, come up with making this machine to save E.T., why couldn't he have just come up with a similar machine to help, you know, save them? Same idea, except maybe instead of having to do an alien dialect, it's just a distress call saying, help, we're stranded on an island. I mean, he's smart enough to do it, and it was just way too convenient that they had all the items necessary to help E.T., pretty much the exact same items from the movie, pretty much. The story as a whole was just bad. Awful, bad, shit, bad, 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 bad. It's not the worst fanfic I've read, but it's getting up there. It's up in Shitsville, people. Well, I'm the FanFic Critic. I read it, you listen, and I'm gonna watch something that's not corny and stupid. I'm gonna watch like Dragonheart or Sweeney Todd or something like that, because anything's better than reading that.